How to become a traditional wife. Number 1, embracing ultra-traditional gender roles into your marriage. The man, he is the provider, the main breadwinner. He goes out of the house and works. The woman, the wife, she is the homemaker. She takes care of the home. She takes care of herself, and she does the cooking and the cleaning. Number 2, and I cannot stress this enough, you have to marry the right man. If you marry a guy who in your dating life, he showed abusive and control tendencies, this is a disaster waiting to happen, because when you become financially dependent on this man, he will abuse all of that. So make sure that you take your dating life very seriously. If you are not dating to eventually marry that person, you're wasting your time. Number 3, learn to cook, learn to clean, and learn how to host. I probably got in the kitchen at like 3 years old with my mom, and she taught me how to cook, how to bake. She taught me how to clean, although I could definitely progress on that. Cooking and cleaning are life skills that can benefit you and your family forever. Number 4, you have to have something for yourself. As a traditional wife, you are spending a lot of your day catering to others, whether it is your husband or your family, and it's important to have something that is meant just for you. This could be sewing, this could be painting, I don't know, ice skating. Find something that is just for you and put that in your life every single day. And number 5, and I mean this in the best way possible, upkeep your beauty maintenance. Men, husbands, they're very visual, and I'm not saying put a full face of makeup on every day, but I do mean to pull yourself together and to make sure that you look presentable, whatever that may mean to you. For me, full face of makeup. I love house dresses, and that's just me. But make sure you are keeping up with your beauty and yourself. You are fit, you are healthy, because you and your husband will benefit from this. There you have it. A couple ways you could become a traditional wife. Bye.
Boy, can I speak on this. Grandmother, stay at home. Mom, stay at home. Me, followed right in their footsteps. 1995, got married. 1997, had my first baby. 2000, had my second. 2004, had my third. No career, no education beyond a high school diploma. It is what I wanted. Having no understanding of the consequences that I'm now facing as a result of that choice. All while my now ex-husband made me feel guilty because I wasn't contributing to the financial household, but yet wanted all of the things done at home as a stay-at-home wife does. He wanted both. And I didn't work outside the home. Then later, as my kids got a little bit older and in school, and the youngest one was like Mother's Day out programs and stuff, I would do housekeeping and anything to bring a little extra money in to our household income. But yeah, no education beyond a high school diploma, no effort to make any kind of career moves moving forward. And then fast forward to 2016, we're divorced. And I'm starting at the bottom with no job experience, even though I had managed a household, albeit sometimes the financial part was very poorly. That's a whole nother topic. And raised 3 children. And now I'm 49 years old and I'm struggling financially because I don't have 20 years of work experience on top of the most recent 10 years. So I should have 30 years of work experience. Don't have that. I have 10. Now my job is being eliminated at my current employer. I have 6 months. I have a retention bonus plus severance after that, and then I've got to find something else. In spite of the fact that I have been trying to get out of this company for multiple years because I have been so very unhappy in this role. And even moving internally in my company, I haven't been able to do that either because they want a degree. They want some type of college education on a resume, and I don't have that. Being a stay-at-home mom is both rewarding and extremely sacrificing. My girls, I was always there for them. Got them to school, got them home. They rarely had to ride the bus. Doctor's appointments, piano lessons, sick, I was home. Anytime they needed anything, I was their caretaker. Their dad was there. He was not a terrible dad. He was supportive as a parent. Although when I wanted to go do something for myself and get out and have some fun with my friends, I was always, I got to stay home and babysit kind of thing. No, these are your kids. You're not babysitting. You're parenting. At the time, I didn't have that verbiage. I didn't have that vocabulary because I didn't understand that what he was saying was not okay, because it's what I had known all my life. My mom stayed at home. She didn't work outside the home until she was older. Then my dad died at 54 years of age and left her a widow. For the next 20 years, that woman struggled. So whether it's divorce or death, trad wives, we're in this economy, especially. Our parents did not experience the same thing that we're experiencing in the 80s. The job market, things were so much better in the 80s than it is right now. Yeah. So if you're going to be a trad wife, and if that's what you want, and again, that is what I wanted, but it's also all that I knew, and I did not have a college education, and for me to try to work and pay daycare, it was pointless because I wasn't making enough money to justify paying for the daycare. I was basically working to pay daycare is what I would have been doing. Because again, I was making just above minimum wage because I had no skills to even give me that higher dollar amount. And then I got married and had kids, and then I wasn't working. So, yeah. If you're going to be a trad wife, prepare yourself. I wish I had known then what I know now. I wish I had had people like me telling me what I'm telling you now. Don't rely on your significant other to take care of your needs forever, because shit happens. I have no words, y'all. So first viral video for me after almost 3 years on this app. Go figure. And it took this content. Apparently it resonated with someone. Grabbed this comment randomly so that I could talk more about this. Married 30 years, stay-at-home mom, 4 sons. Divorce started over at 48. Wasn't easy, but I did it. Yes, it's hard. And we can do it. But holy shit, it shouldn't be this hard. Between the economy being so bad and then starting over, it's awful. So my mom was a trad wife, like I talked about in my first video, for all of my life. And Dad died at 54. All 3 of us, I was the baby, so all 3 of us were out of the house, but hadn't been out of the house long. Dad died just before I gave birth to my first child, and I was 23. So I saw my mom struggle so much, but I didn't see my mom struggle before my dad died. And I didn't see the consequences of what could happen if something had happened to my dad, or, you know, if they divorced, and how my mom would struggle. My girls got to see that firsthand. And my girls are not trad wives. And I never had to tell them. My oldest, you know, she married, but that didn't work. My youngest is only 19. My middle one is 24, and she's got my granddaughter and is in a good relationship, but she works for the same company that I work for. Unfortunately, as a trad wife, as a full-time stay-at-home mom, job employers don't look at that as a job skill. And now that I'm 49, raised an 80s baby, and, you know, internet wasn't a thing when my kids were younger, but as they got older and that was a thing, it just, you know, the availability to do online classes wasn't necessarily an option at that time. So I just did what I did and never thought that I would ever end up divorced at 40, but I did. My ex, this platform is not going to be about throwing my ex under the bus. We've worked through a lot of that, and we're 10 years out and in a healthy place, with our kids and with each other. We can have decent conversations without bashing each other. But at the same time, I'm just struggling. Now, I did get equitable distribution from my marriage, and then I had to use a lot of that to supplement my income to take care of the kids at that time when they were still at home. And then I met a person who took advantage of me, and I'll never see that money. And I made poor decisions in my finances, and I've had to learn the hard way. Because while my mom was a trad wife, she handled all the finances. My dad was illiterate. He could barely write his name on a piece of paper. Which is really sad, but he didn't have an education. And but he worked. He was a blue-collar worker, welder, made decent money for the 80s. And my mom and my dad, with one full-time income, and my mom babysitting and doing cake decorating and different odd jobs to put extra money in the account. And then she gardened and we grew everything. I hated the summertime because I never got to sleep in. There was no fun summertime stuff. But we always had food in the cabinets and meat in the freezer, and we didn't do without. I didn't know we were poor, because really we weren't. We just didn't have a big income. But Mom and Dad paid for their house in 8.5 years. Yes, you heard me correctly. My mom, with no income, no regular income, no full-time job, and my dad with a full-time blue-collar job, paid for a house in 8.5 years in the 80s. They moved in that house in 79 when I was 4.5 years old. And it was paid for by the time I was 12, 13. And that is the only reason that when my mom died at when my dad died at 54, that Mom was able to work and stay in the house. She didn't lose the house. She went to work. She got her a job at a restaurant, and then eventually ended up doing housekeeping until she got sick and could no longer work. And then she died in 2018. So my mom had been without my dad for 21 years. And I still didn't see it. I had it right there in front of me, and I still couldn't see it because I was having too much fun as a stay-at-home mom while also struggling mentally. But I loved it. I loved being at home with my kids and never thought I'd see myself divorced at 40. And by the time I did see myself self-divorced at 40, it was too late. And then I had to start over. And I've had people say, why do you always tell your story? Why do you always tell the inside of your gut, so to speak? And I'm like, well, because if I can help someone to not make the mistakes that I did, the financial mistakes that I did early on, the lack of awareness of seeing my mom struggle after my dad passed away at 54 years of age and I was 23 with my first child, it went right over my head. Did not understand. And or basically maybe I would just refuse to see it. Mom never said, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. Mom was my example, and I just walked through life just like this with my blinders on. I'm glad this video resonated with a lot of people. I am just blown away. I'm trying to go through the comments. There's a lot of content in these comments, and there's things that this is what we need to do. This is what this platform is about. We need to talk about these things. We need to be very transparent with each other, and especially as women starting over in the workforce. I've decided I'm going to add something to my resume, though. Those of you who are in this field, let me know what you think about this. I would love some feedback on this. So my mom, after my dad died and she started the housekeeping, she had her own business cards, and she listed all the things that she would do on the daily, including running errands, picking up dry cleaning, cleaning the house, laundry, fresh sheets on the bed every week, whatever. House, windows needed to be cleaned, door facings, baseboards. Mama did it all, and came home every day in so much pain that because her body just, we get older and our bodies just don't work like they used to. And I don't know. I just sat back and watched her struggle, but still couldn't see it. But she started calling herself a domestic engineer. I loved it. And why I've never thought about putting that on my resume, I don't know. But it's definitely something I think I'm going to look at, because I raised 3 kids and kept the household running for almost 20 years. We were married in 95 and we separated in 2014, and our divorce was final in 2016. So I had been back out in the workforce for about 10 months when I left him, and managed to scrape together some money to get an apartment and get out. And this platform is not going to be about bashing my marriage. We're not going to be talking about my marriage, but I want to talk about what happens after marriage. What does that look like to us? What are our options? Now, right now, I work I work a full-time job and a part-time job, and then I babysit a little girl that's 2. She's precious, and I just eat her up every time I'm with her. She's actually very good for me because she is just such a snuggle bug, and so it's great for me. But her mom's single mom, and I help her out. But I work full-time for my current company. I'm in the finance department. I work with expense vendors and also with our stores on the expense side. And then I do Spark. I make deliveries for Walmart through the Spark app. I want to get an education. I want to further my degree, or get a degree and further my education to help me. But that takes time, number one. And number two, when am I supposed to sleep? When am I supposed to eat? I'm already working 2 jobs. I work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's extremely rare for me to take a day off. If you go back and look at some of my other videos, some other content, I've talked about a lot of that. I've talked about the struggles. I have been very transparent and sit and cried on videos talking about how I'm so stressed. And a lot of my anxiety and depression right now is because I work 2 jobs and I'm exhausted. I'm mentally and physically exhausted. Last night's the first time that I have had a restful night's sleep in weeks. Doctor managed to give me a medication that helped with some of the panic attacks, and I was able to rest last night. I got a full 6 hours before I woke up. So I feel a lot better, but let's continue this conversation. It is definitely one that needs to be had. And if us older women can help the younger generation to make better choices, and I know the economy is playing a big part in that, and my time's almost up on this video. I'm sorry it's so long. The economy is playing a big part in that, but at the same time, we got to teach our younger people, our younger women, how to take care of themselves and not rely on a man to take care of us, because there's no guarantees that's going to work. So let's keep this conversation going, and let's not let this fall by the wayside. Let's keep this going and help each other. I will be posting more content, but I've got a busy day, so y'all have a good one. And again, thank you for all the views and likes.